all. With these people, what they need is completely different. I just realized that I had been on mute for a while on um the other platform, so I'm going to have to keep this recording today. So let's continue. With these people, what they need is they need to actually prioritize their projects, so they're not doing everything at the same time. So what I could do with them, or what I would recommend for them, is that they um evaluate their project's importance, letting go of non-essential. So they have to let go of certain things and have the ability and the opportunity to focus on that which is important. So those are the ones that are overwhelmed. Then we have the easily distracted starters. So they start, but they get easily distracted. So starting is not a problem for this category of people, but they get excited, they want to start, they start strong, but all of a sudden, you just find that they're sidetracked. They struggle to maintain momentum. They are not able to focus on one thing until successful. They are easily distracted starters because they start well, but they don't end well. With these people, what they need is to learn how to focus, and they need to be taught productivity techniques. So I will work with them on mindfulness practices, time blocking, and strategies to combat distraction. Another category of people is the fickle wanderers. Now, they tend to lose interest quickly and jump from one project to another. Let me know if this is you. You lose interest easily. You just jump from project to project, project to project without completing any. Now, these people are very, very good at starting also, but they start too many things and they don't complete anything. They may start like three projects at the same time. What they need is accountability and goal commitment. And if they get this, it helps them get unstuck. Well, I'm sure we've all heard of the perfectionist, but just imagine there's something that happens to the perfectionist. The perfectionist is paralyzed because they're striving for perfection. It makes them hold back, and it leads to hesitancy and lack of progress. So they hesitate, they do not make progress. They are waiting for the perfect time to do every single thing. And they need a consistent reminder that they need to think about progress over perfection. It's going to be talking about a mindset shift. They need to learn how to celebrate small achievements and emphasize learning from mistakes. Now, now that we know the six different types of people that are stuck, let me know where you fall in. The perfectionist paralyzed, the fickle wanderers, the easily distracted starters, the overwhelmed multitaskers, the directionless dreamers, the time strapped achievers on our spectrum. Where do you think you fall? I think people may fall into more than one category or more than one part of the spectrum. In certain projects, you may be in a certain place, but you're going to have one that is more, maybe 50% more than the others. So let's look at your status check. What do we mean by that? In order for you to know if you're stuck, what I want you to do is take an audit of your life, identify key areas of your life. I think you should start with considering things like your career, family, relationship, academic, personal development, your health, your well being. And in your own words, take note of each area that you feel is significant to your overall happiness and fulfillment. You have to be intentional about doing this. Then rate your satisfaction. So, first of all, we start with all these areas of your life listed. Then, what's your area of satisfaction? Your rate your satisfaction level on a scale of 0 to 10, or 1 to 10 rather. One if you're not satisfied, 10 if you're satisfied. And this time, this is what I will say: be honest, be vulnerable, trust your intuition when you're assigning goals. Don't say what you wish you had in these areas of your life. Rather, what I want you to think about is where you are at today. And you could do yourself a favor and write the date. When you've rated your satisfaction, let's reflect on your patterns. What are the common threads? What are the common things that you realize, or the common patterns that makes you to lose focus if you are the fickle wanderer? What are the things, or the similarities, or the scores or themes that emerge from all these areas of your lives? If we don't recognize patterns and learn from them, we do not develop insight. So we are making information, or we're getting information based on data, not just based on wishful thinking. Like I said, we are trying our best as much as possible to diagnose before prescribing. because now that we've diagnosed the problem, we can now go further to identify the pain points. What you're doing in this area is you're taking notes of areas that you have assigned lower score or you feel dissatisfied, and then you are looking at the indicators for potential challenges or obstacles that may have affected you. One thing we don't do is celebrate successes. So at this point in time, that's what I want you to do. Think about the areas you've done well. Don't look at the areas you didn't do well only. Look at the areas that you succeeded, because this will help you in the future. And based on your status check, based on the type of or your level of stuckness on the spectrum, you set your intentions, your new intentions for what you want, and then you go further and embrace self-compassion, because sometimes we are so hard on ourselves that we're not able to make progress at all. So why am I talking about self-compassion? I want you to be kind to yourself. Treat yourself with kindness and understand as you walk towards positive change that you will need to let go of certain things and allow yourself the opportunity to grow. Allow yourself the opportunity to make mistakes. Allow yourself the opportunity to succeed. Acknowledge that you are not perfect, because it's okay to be stuck in certain areas. And the best thing about going from the spectrum to the status is this: when you identify the category that best describes your current situation, you will gain insight into the specific challenges that you face. Remember, what we said was we are diagnosing before prescribing. So we've diagnosed the problem, you understand what part of the spectrum you are. We can now prescribe what you need, whether it's a morning routine, whatever you need, we can now look at that later on. But what else can we do? What is the psychology behind being stuck? And when we look at it, it's not a one size fits all matter. No matter how we want to look at it, that's why we are not just giving diagnosis and giving a blanket approach. But there are so many factors that could impact someone's ability to be stuck or someone's consistency being stuck. And the first one is fear of failure. We talked about this before. Some people's fear of failure prevents them from even taking any action. So there's this avoidance mentality because you believe that, oh, I won't succeed in this area, so I'm just going to abandon it completely. So fear of failure is one thing that affects people. Self-doubt, and this is something that I will go through fast. We've said this before. Self-doubt kills more dreams than any other thing. Most people, it's not because they don't have the money, the skills, the qualifications, the connections, but it's because they don't believe in themselves. So the reason people are stuck and are refusing to move forward is because of self-doubt. It's a lack of confidence in your abilities and self-worth. And it could definitely most likely lead to negative self-talk and feelings of inadequacy. This can create a cycle of self sabotage when we avoid doing what we should do because we believe that we are not capable of succeeding. Perfectionism. Now, unlike imposter syndrome that only comes when you are qualified, perfectionism is different. Perfectionism, you're striving for perfection, so you're not going to take anything that is, it paralyzes you. You don't want to make any mistake, so you rather take no step. So no step is better than a mistake. That's what a perfectionist believes. And if we are to take one step, that one step needs to be taken when everything is perfectly in order, when all your ducks are in a row. Now, we're not saying you do not hold yourself to a standard of excellence. We're saying that you do not let perfectionism prevent you from progressing. Progress over perfection. Now, this is one thing that affects people and impacts people's ability to get things done, and is a lack of clarity. Now, lack of clarity, some people say, "Oh, I don't understand." Lack of clarity comes, it's not just about not understanding, because you may understand something, but you don't understand how it applies to you. So it's not having a clear vision and direction for the goal that you set for yourself. So it leaves you lost. There's this uncertainty that makes you unable to make progress. So without a clear plan, it becomes challenging to make meaningful actions towards our objectives. Overwhelm and stress. Stress. People are burnt out. They've been going through it since school, work. life, kids, everything, and they are overwhelmed. They're just burnt out. So this is another battle for them to face, and they are just done. So this can sometimes impact people's ability to get anything done. Apart from overwhelm or success or stress rather, past trauma. Now, past traumatic experiences, what has happened to you in the past can prevent you from making progress, because you think about the way some things did not succeed or some things failed, and you can start blaming yourself because of the way you felt when it did not get resolved basically. So these unresolved issues may surface as a feeling of anxiety or avoidance while attempting to walk towards your goal. So sometimes we don't understand or we don't realize that trauma or negative experiences have impacted us in a way that we are not making progress. And sometimes the motivation is just not there. There's a lack of intrinsic or extrinsic motivation. It can lead to you having no energy, zero drive, and you just don't want to pursue that goal at that point in time. And so, what do you have to do now in order to move from stuck to unstuck? It starts with reflecting on the current state. Where are you now? How did you get here? How did you get stuck? What happened? Where did it all go to? You need to ask yourself these questions to understand why you're stuck and how you can get over it. But these are useful tips of what you can do. I recommend goal mapping. This just goes beyond goal setting, but breaking your goals into stages, putting them in a way that you can visualize them. So, goal mapping is what works for certain people, but most importantly, it's about analysis. Do a SWOT analysis of your life. Look at your strengths, look at your weaknesses, look at the opportunities that you can take advantage of based on the projects that you want to work on and the threats that could prevent you from doing this. So those are the limitations, the external limitations, the ones that you don't have control over. Your weaknesses, they are internal. There are things that you have control over, but there are things that threaten you that you no longer have control over. Think about these things and then do an analysis and make a plan to work on your strengths, take advantage of opportunities, identify weaknesses and threats, and look for roadblocks to help you build up on those things. Journaling. I talk about the power of journaling all the time. It's fantastic when we're able to sit down and just scribe and just write. Sometimes we need to disconnect to connect with ourselves. So, yes, journaling is something that is fantastic that I believe helps most people get things done. And one thing that we don't do that I have realized helps me is feedback from others. So I'm part of an accountability group. And in my accountability group, we meet every Wednesday. And what we simply do is give each other feedback. We listen to what you have to say, you give account of what you did the previous week, and then we give you feedback if you need it. If I'm working on a project, like I'm working on project 45, I'm trying to build my email list, I will go to my group and talk to them about it. So there are 3 projects I'm supposed to be working on this week, and my group is aware. I have to go back and give them account of what I have done. Goal tracking. Most times we set goals and we don't have a system to track goals. So we don't realize we've not achieved our goal till the end of the year. So the next step is to engage in goal tracking, because being stuck sometimes it's a state of mind, but it's also about understanding that self-reflection and identifying challenges could help you make progress. However, until you start taking steps and taking these steps consistently, there is no growth. So what do you do now? You define clear goals. You establish meaningful and achievable objectives for yourself. You align your goals with your personal values. We've talked about goal setting. We're going to talk about how you can align them with personal values because we have 8 more episodes to go. And tomorrow, we're going to be talking about something amazing, which is about maximizing productivity, identifying gaps and overcoming personal productivity gaps. So, the aim is for you to understand the habits, the things that you're doing that are preventing you from making progress in order for you to actually accomplish what you want to accomplish. And that's it for me. So, thank you so much for your time, and I am so excited about the coming back with this series. The next episode is tomorrow, so join me. I will try my best not to forget to unmute myself. but I may re-record this episode because we did not have the beginning audio. But thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.